Right now we are joined by a very special guest here on Inside Arkansas. As we know, it's all about the coaching search and about who's going to be the next head hog. We don't really know that yet and probably won't know for a while, but we're still going to talk about it with our guy, Jake Crain. He is host of Crain and Company over at the Daily Wire, and it's been too long. Jake, appreciate you joining us, man. How you doing this afternoon?
John, I'm doing great, and for the second time in a row, I think Viola, aka Muffin, is joining us because her mother got called into work again. But no, it's an interesting time at Arkansas because for people that say the games don't matter, it's about the coaching search. Well, the games could affect the coaching search. Therefore, have they ever mattered more?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've been trying to dive into this and trying to make sense out of it and trying to put it to Razorback fans where it's like, this is a very unique situation. You know, Arkansas feels like the coaching searches they've go through are so unique, but you're talking about a situation where they have 7 games left of the season. They have an interim coach in Bobby Petrino, but let's just start first before we get really into the rest of it. We talked about Sam Pittman this offseason SEC Media Days. Obviously, it just didn't work out, but just what do you think of not only the job Pittman did, but also maybe, you know, why it didn't work out at Arkansas the way that he and others hoped that it would have?
Well, again, I'll join the train of guys that have said, it's unfortunate because Sam's a great dude. I mean, every time we had him on, that he would tell us the truth. He was about as real with as any head coach will be. And it's unfortunate it didn't work out, but there was that flicker of excitement early. Obviously, with him, you look at beating Texas and all that brought. But man, you felt like they never could get over the hump, and then there was just this lack of excitement. And that's something I talked about with you at media days and before the season, is that it just feels like even if Arkansas went 7-5 or 8-4, you're not like Sam Pittman to the moon, or like, man, it's the potential here is crazy. It just started to feel like a place filler. And that's what it ended up being. And, again, whether you like the guy or not, you get paid this amount of money. You go to a place like Arkansas, they expect you to win games. And he didn't win enough of them and didn't win enough big ones. So I thought it was the right move by Arkansas, honestly, to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. If I was the 80, that's what I would do. Now, don't even get me started on saying that, well, he didn't have enough resources. The AD saying that's insane. I'm sure everybody realizes how insane that is, because then it does 2 things. One, it makes it look like it's your fault. And the second thing it does, if I'm a coach coming to Arkansas, why would I ever come to Arkansas if I have any other decent option? Because the AD's like, yeah, man, look, the race car's not fast enough. I don't know what to tell you. You better find a shortcut like it's Mario Kart. But I think the lack of excitement is at the end of the day what was the biggest factor. And Arkansas, to me, again, it's an attractive place to coach. I think all these people that hate on Arkansas, I don't get it. I think it's actually a pretty good gig.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought up the thing with the athletic director, because I think that's where a lot of the issues come from fans, where they're like, man, how did this happen? How did we get to this point? From an outsider's perspective, do you have any sort of reasoning as to why people are like, well, he's being honest, but it's like, no, you don't want him to be honest about that, though, if that's the case.
Yeah, look, sometimes it's not good to be honest. When my wife was pregnant, in her 7th, 8th month, and she asked me, do I look big? You know what I said, John? I said, no, you look amazing. You're glowing right now. And then it turns into what's going on right now, live on your screen. But look, I'm all for transparency. I say this about Hugh Freeze. Look, man, you ain't got to tell him everything. You ain't got to tell him how you really feel. Give us a little bit. That's fine. Like a decent amount of transparency is good. But that's just kind of a bridge too far, because you're kind of screwing yourself on both ends. So I don't know what Hunters was trying to accomplish by that. Nice guys finish last. Let's be honest. She's going to date the dude that rides a motorcycle and talks bad to her. That's just how it works. So, I don't know, man. That's a new one for me, John. I've seen a lot of guys say a lot of things. He didn't have the resources. Man, I wouldn't have put that one on my bingo card.
Yeah, well, it's something I don't think anyone can really explain at this point. But speaking of riding motorcycles, you have Bobby Petrino is now the interim head coach. Now, listen, this is one of the most chaotic things that I've ever seen, because I never dreamed in a million years that Bobby Petrino would ever be the head coach at Arkansas once again. Now, I know he's the interim, but here he is, 7 games. Arkansas was close in a couple of these, but I mean, what do you make of him being the interim coach? Because in my honest opinion, it's almost like You have a better interim coach than you did a head coach anyways before with Pittman. But what do you make of him being the guy, and how can this change, or will it change at all the final 7 games of the season?
I wonder what odds you could have gotten after Motorcycle Gate or Volleyball Gate, whatever you want to call it, that Petrino, whether interim or full-time, would ever be the head coach again, let alone at Arkansas. It's insane. It almost reminds me, and I don't know if you've ever seen these movies now with her. I have to watch movies like this. Like in the Spy Kids movies, where the villain like never gets arrested and they like keep him on the team. Like they're always like, hey man, you tried to take over the world, but we'll let you be the VP. It doesn't matter. But I tell you, there's a part of me, and that's why before we got on air, when I was trying to go over my mind how old Bobby Petrino is, like I still feel like there's more excitement already. Like you feel like Arkansas is more relevant already, because we know that Bobby Petrino can put together a legitimate offense. And I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, John. I can't remember the last time an interim coach was allowed to fire the DC. So like that to me, that's treating you like Hunter wants him to be something. And maybe because he said what he said, it was always going to be Bobby P, because you don't have to pay him a ton because of what happened in the past. And he's already there and he'll take it. So I actually think it's going to be pretty interesting to watch Arkansas the rest of the year, because, you know, really they're playing with house money on defense. But I'm just not sure. If you look at the options that are available, I mean, a guy like John Sumrall, right? You can go through some names. I mean, Bobby P knows the lay of the land. Like he knows how this operation works. Let's just keep him away from volleyball practice and keep him away from the soccer team, and I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it to where if there's certain things that you were missing out on, like these one possession games that Arkansas kept losing, it's like, hey, sometimes just the details, and sometimes it's clock management, timeout management, the little things that can make a difference. But it's a matter of with Arkansas knowing the rest of the schedule. You got 7 SEC games. It doesn't get easier because they play Tennessee on the road, who has the best offense in the SEC right now. But like, is there a certain level of like amount of games that Bobby has to win in your mind to be like, okay, you have to give him the job permanently because he wants the gig. He wants to be the permanent head coach. Is it just wins and losses, or do you need to see some more of that to say, hey, yeah, this guy's the man for the job moving forward?
Man, I think the first thing you see is how the team responds. I think it's more defensively than offensively. You know Bobby Petrino can get in the kitchen and cook up some points. Like, you know, you're not worried about that. It's how does the team respond to him? You know, I just always go back to watching like the Notre Dame team react to Marcus Freeman being named the head coach and some of these other situations where that happened. Like, does the team love him, right? Is he a guy? And look, Bobby's not soft and cuddly. Let's be honest. I mean, look, it's somebody who got the game-winning hit off his son in the 12-year-old state championship game at All-Stars when he was the OC at Auburn. I know that he's not the warmest and fuzziest person, but he knows how to structurally get it done. He knows how to, you know, work an organization like Arkansas to be able to win. So if there's a number on it, I mean, if he goes 5-2, you got to give him the job. You know, I think 4-3 is probably good enough. But what if he goes 3-4 or even 2-5, and 2 of those wins are huge, like against teams there's no way they should have beat? That's where I think it gets interesting. And then weighing, you know, what happened in the past with what he has to do to get the job. That's where I find it interesting. Like, is there, hey, he's got to really blow it out of the water for us to trust him, you know, to be the head coach again? Or maybe it's a redemption story, right? Maybe he learned from his mistakes. I just want to coach ball, man. Football. I don't need to ride Harleys, right? I don't need to go out here and be singing karaoke at 11:30 at night. Like, I you know, maybe, again, he's what, 64? Come on, dude. Let's be honest. All right, I know they've made advances in science, but it's time to just focus on the career and then retire. And then, hey, let's move to Florida and let's go to Rocco's and stuff like that.
No, I think a lot of people are with you on that. And I will say the last thing, I want your thoughts on Bobby Petrino, because like I'm a huge Petrino fan. When I was at the University of Arkansas as a student was when he was there. And that was arguably, I mean, 21-5 in 2 seasons, their only BCS bowl appearance. I mean, they were great and it was a lot of fun. But I guess I look at Petrino similar to I look at Kiffin, where for whatever reason, he's been a great offensive mind that has gotten it done in different ways for 20 plus years. I mean, Right. Yeah. And different types of quarterbacks. You know, Ryan Mallett, rest in peace, was a completely different quarterback from Lamar Jackson, but they both were successful. Why do you think Bobby Petrino, is there anything about him? You're a ball knower. So is there anything about him, his offense, his approach, like what makes him transcend all those decades where so many other offensive minds and gurus and innovators come and go, kind of phase out? What's made him so special?
Well, I think it's a couple things. I think one, he's been able to evolve as the game evolved, but not lose his identity. His offenses have typically been pretty balanced. He's always had kind of a way to get you. Again, we played him when he was at Western Kentucky, when I was at South Alabama, and it was a home game we beat him in. But preparing for him, what he does with the tight end, it's almost like magic, like the way he's able to understand matchups. But I think his biggest, I would say, positive quality is, the best play callers call plays to set you up for later in the game. Like, yes, you want to score right now. Yes, you want to be able to dial it up all the time. You want your opening script to be awesome and go down there and score. And a lot of times with Bobby, it is. But he will call a play. And Lane Kiffin is also really good at this. And so is Lincoln, to be honest with you. You remember those times where we'd see Lane Kiffin hold up his clipboard, like during a play halfway through the third quarter? Because he knows, like, even before the guy's open, that he called a play in the first quarter to do this again to you later in the game. Bobby does that in droves. Like, there's 4 or 5 times a game where he may call a play that gets 2 yards or 3 yards, or there's some sort of pre-snap motion that has led to a big tendency for 3 games that he's going to call in the first half, just so you think every time it's coming. And then he hits you with a big play late in the game. He's always got 3 or 4 of those that he's got dialed up and ready to go. So I think it's those things. He's able to evolve without losing his identity. And then he's just setting you up. It's a Scooby-Doo episode. But every time you pull the mask off in the fourth quarter, it's Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, well, last one before I let you get out of here then. Moving on from Petrino, there's all these names get thrown around. Is there any coach that you feel like is realistic, that you look at it with, they'll be like, man, that guy at Arkansas, that would make sense. That would fit. Like, is there any names that come to mind for you?
There's 2. And they've got Auburn connections, John.
Uh-oh. I don't know about this then.
Gus Malzahn, right? Gus.
Hey, 5th time's a charm. 5th time's a charm. Try it out again.
Yeah, come on, man. Just look. Does Darren McFadden got a kid, or Felix Jones? No, to be honest with you, I think they need to go outside the family. I really think they need to. I think they need to go young. And that's not a Bobby Petrino joke. It's just it's 100% serious. When you look around the country, and again, I know there's a connection here. I think taking a look at Kendall Briles, legitimately giving him a shot, at least in an interview to see how you like him, because I think you need an offensive guy. I don't think you need a defensive guy. Summerall at Tulane is an obvious answer, but to be honest, I think he's waiting for something bigger. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to Arkansas. He's the first guy in line for a lot of big-time ADs right now. Really outside of that, I know a lot of people want Rhett Lashley, but if I'm Rhett, why? Why would I do that? Like, SMU's got more money than God. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize that. And you're in the ACC. You made the playoff last year. I tell you, I think it should be a young guy, an offensive guy. That's why I look at Kendall. Garrett Riley, I don't think's ready yet. And we can go down the list of what the Rileys have done, but I would go young and offensive. That's what I would do.
Well, whoever it is, hopefully the AD is able to financially support them and set them up for success. I think that's good.
You almost got to go young now because you said that. What do you think? Some old guy or some guy that's getting like Signetti's going to be like, yeah, for sure. No resources. Pfft, I love it. I did it in Indiana. No, he ain't going in the S. You're not coming in the SEC without the resources. That don't matter unless you're young, right? And you're like, all right, let's just go do it. It's a great opportunity. And I feel like they've got to go that way, or just keep Bobby P, man. We'll see what happens. You never know, dude. You never know.
You never know with Arkansas because it's always chaotic and crazy. There's no doubt, but it's going to be fun.
You never know with an 8-month-old who's using me like a jungle gym. You said you were going to be good.
I'd say you got a workout in, man. But hey, we love having you. Love talking with you. Love talking ball. It's Jay Crain of Crain and Company of the Daily Wire, as well as Muffin making an appearance once again.
Yeah.
But hey, man, but we appreciate it, dude. And it's gonna be fascinating to see. Who knows? Maybe Bobby P turns the whole world upside down and gets it going for Arkansas later this year. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, look, if it is Bobby P, you got 3 head coaches. One's what, 65, the other one's 64, the other one's 64. At some point, Saul Goodman's going to come try and sell you something.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. Appreciate you as always, Jake.
John, thanks, buddy. Keep killing it.